Hello everyone, welcome to the Tristar Gym channel. Today's episode, I'm answering more questions. In the next video, I'm hoping to do a fight breakdown or a technique video for you guys. I know this is the third AMA. I've been really busy with the different fights coming up, and I've been also traveling a little bit, so I won't be able to get you guys a technique video out this week, but hopefully next week or the week after that I'll have a fight breakdown or post-fight pre-fight analysis video or something else. I will be getting you guys something different in the next video. Before we get started in this video, I first want to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors that are sponsoring this very episode here is number one is timtam.tech, the world's best deep tissue therapy device. Check out this device. It's amazing for those of you who train, lift weights, wrestle, box, whatever. If you're an athlete, you need this device. It's the best device there is out there to keep your muscles loose and limber. I also want to thank defensetech.co. Defensetech.co sells you everything that's defense. Okay, so if you need pepper spray, batons, hidden cameras, whatever GPS trackers, I mean, all the crazy stuff you need to defend yourself. I personally recommend everyone should have pepper spray. I was actually surprised to find out that pepper spray is illegal in Canada. I tried to get pepper spray shipped to me, but the site won't ship you anything that is illegal in your state or country. Okay, so most of you in the States are allowed to buy everything on the site. Some key states are not allowed to have pepper spray or tasers or whatever, so the site won't allow you to buy. So if you go to try to check out your item on the site, it will not allow you to take it. It's because it's illegal in your state or country. I was very surprised to find out that Canada does not allow pepper spray, which I think is crazy. I think pepper spray is the smartest way to defend yourself. I've bought pepper spray in Canada in the past at flea markets and stuff like that. I didn't know it was illegal, but I really think that everybody should have pepper spray in their car, on their person when they travel, and they think that they might not travel. When you go out and about and you're worried, you're walking through a dark parking lot, or you're in your car and you're worried that there's going to be a little road rage. You never know what's going to happen. And as you guys know, I watch a lot of YouTube fights videos. I do the breakdowns and stuff, and I've seen pepper spray in action, and I will be doing breakdowns with pepper spray in them, to see what really works. How do you safely diffuse a situation? And pepper spray is powerful. I mean, it's amazing stuff. You will neutralize an attacker. You don't need any training. You don't need any real like practice. Pepper spray is just such a simple device to protect yourself, and it'll take down a killer. It'll take down a really big, strong, muscular, athletic beast of an opponent, and boom, one spray and they're pretty much immobilized. Now, of course, not all sprays are made the same. Make sure you get the top-notch stuff. defensetech.co has the best of the best. This is a hardcore products. Okay, they won't fail you. These are the legitimate products, and I highly recommend them for you who are very aware of safety. Also sponsoring this channel is XPN Nutrition. XPN Nutrition, for all of you guys out there who are failing drug tests and saying that it was a contaminated supplement. Well, XPN has a solution for you. All their supplements are tested, okay, by a third party. It's 100% contaminant free. XPN Nutrition, xpn.com, xpnworld.com, I believe. The link is in the description. Check it out. They sponsor this YouTube channel. They sponsor this episode. They sponsor us as well. And they're an excellent company. Also, of course, Reebok. I'm always wearing their gear. Reebok, thank you very much for sponsoring this channel. Now, let's get started with the first question. What do you think about Ido Portal and his movement training? What do I think about Ido Portal and his movement training? Well, I think movement training is good. I don't think there's anything wrong with movement training, but I think that it's just something to supplement your practice. Now, if you're a white belt or a blue belt, I don't think you need much movement training, because your martial arts training is already tons of movement training for you. So if you haven't done thousands of arm bars, if you haven't done thousands of duck unders and arm drags and single leg takedowns and butterfly guard sweeps, these are all new motor skills for you. So why would you want to learn other motor skills? Why would you want to learn too many motor skills? The idea of training martial arts is the same idea as movement training. You're learning all sorts of amazing movements, and this is building your coordination. It's building your ability to control your body, which is the whole purpose of Ido Portal's training. He's trying to teach you, look, this is how your shoulder moves, this is how your elbow moves, this is how your neck moves. Here's how you can make them all move together, and just kind of helping you with coordination. Now, I'm a big believer in coordination. You know, when I look at an athlete, one thing I like to see first and foremost is how good is his coordination. Can he chew bubblegum and walk at the same time? If he can't, wow, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. But you have so many motor skills to learn in martial arts that you don't need so much movement training or Ido Portal training if you're a beginner. Now, when you get older, if you've been doing martial arts for 10 years, 15 years, and you know the duck unders, you know the arm drags, you know the butterfly guard sweeps, you know the Del Hiva sequences, you could spin, you can go into inverted guard in a blink of an eye. I mean, it's just basic to you. Then it's fun to add some extra movement training. Then that's when I would start adding movement training. So for instance, I didn't use movement training with GSP, but I did use gymnastics, which in my opinion is the same. It's really close to the same thing. Really close. If you look at a gymnast and you look at Ido Portal, I mean, they're pretty close. You know, of course, there are variations, there are differences. You know, Ido Portal uses different, like, you know, he uses more, I would say, capoeira and dance movements and stuff like that. But if you take a gymnast and you ask him to follow Ido Portal, he'll be able to do it. Okay, it's just that's what gymnastics is. It's total body coordination. At least that's how I see it. They're the most athletic and most coordinated athletes out there. So I like to do some gymnastics. Now, will somebody who wants to be the world's best martial artist, will he ever be a great gymnast? Probably not, because it would take 2 lifetimes, okay, to be a great gymnast and a great martial artist. You got to do just a little bit of movement training, just a little bit. So if you're doing 90% martial arts and 10% movement training, that's good. And I'll tell you why it's good. If you do 100% martial arts training, you might have what they call overuse injuries. Okay, overuse injuries. If your joints are always doing the same mechanics over and over again, same mechanics, what happens is certain muscles will atrophy because they're not getting used, they're not needed for this movement, and certain muscles will get built stronger and stronger. Now, one day you'll be taken out of your pattern because it's gonna happen, right? Anomalies happen, and you might injure yourself because those muscles are not those muscles that are being called upon are not used to working at that intensity. So to make sure you have a global and very well-rounded body, you know, all your muscles are worked, you want to do some exercises that are completely outside of your patterns, completely opposite to what punching and kicking and sweeping and grappling do. Okay, so if you look at a grappler, like for instance, look at Damian Maia, somebody who's done tremendous amounts of grappling. He kind of moves like a tow truck, you know. That's what grappling is. Grappling is like you kind of lock on and you transition from a locked position to another. He kind of moves like a really tight, congested type of squeeze, you know. Whereas if you look at a Mayweather who's been boxing, he's very fluid and he's snappy and he's lightning fast and he's very he's more like Ferrari, you know. He's more like a 0 to 60 type of athlete. Now, one guy's been boxing, you got to be loose and fast, and the other guy's been clinching and grappling his entire life. He's also got to have some speed, but not as much as needed as in boxing, you know. Of course, jiu-jitsu practitioners can also be quick, you know, like if you look at a Rafa Mendes, he's more of a quick guy than a clincher, but there's still obviously a lot more clinching and grappling than there'll ever be in does a grappler want to practice being loose and fluid? Yes, because again, there's a level of fluidity that is needed in jiu-jitsu and in wrestling, not as much as in boxing, I would say, but still there is. So you would sharpen that aspect of your training that you don't do often. Why? Because it'll recalibrate you and it will help you avoid overuse injuries. So in my opinion, doing martial arts training is plenty of movement training. I mean, the back kicks, the scissor kicks, if you're just doing jiu-jitsu, yeah, you might need more movement training. But if you're doing MMA, you're already learning so many motor skills that Ido Portal training might be too redundant, doing too much of it. Just do a small amount and do it as a recovery. You know, like the days you're really sore, you wake up out of bed and you feel like you got hit by a truck. That's the day you want to do more movement training. You know, don't do any more jiu-jitsu. Don't do any more boxing. Your muscles that you're using for boxing and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, they're burned out. Use the other muscles to create blood flow, circulation, and it'll help you recover. So if you're wise with the Ido Portal training, it's beneficial. If you overdo it, it's detrimental. Are you wise enough to find the correct balance? That is the question. I hope that is a thorough answer. Next question here is from, let's see here. This one's from Ahmad. Hi Faraz, I'm wondering as to how a skinny, lanky person like John Jones can be so strong and have incredible core strength and takedown defense. Well, it's not. Why is it so? Why is it so surprising? Tall people can be just as athletic as short people. Jon Jones has been training his entire life. He has over 300 wrestling matches. He's been cultivating that athleticism his entire life. So for somebody who hasn't been doing, hasn't been an athlete his entire life, it could be very surprising. If you meet somebody who's been playing piano their entire life, it's gonna seem amazing to you how great they are. How fluid it is, how easy it is for them to play a song. However, if you saw what they did every day, and I forget whose quote that is, but if you saw every day what they did, I think it was Michelangelo who said that. People are amazed at what I can do in paintings and stuff, but if they saw what I did every single day my entire life, they wouldn't be so amazed. They wouldn't be so amazed because it was progressive. So, Jon Jones reached mastery because he put in a lifetime of work. So don't be so surprised. Put your 10 years of work in and you'll see how it's done. Find something you're passionate about, find something you're interested in, and master it. Put 10,000 hours, put 10 years of practice, and you'll see. You'll answer your own question. This one is from Gaetan. Dear Mr. Zahabi, may I suggest a question for your next video of yours? Could you tell us a bit more about your martial arts lineage? Who were your masters, instructors, or sources of inspiration? I suppose a fair amount of viewers are curious about this. Thanks a lot for regularly sharing with us your views and thoughts on martial arts. Well, my pleasure, Gaetan. And my answer to you is my number one instructor, I would say, was John Danaher. John Danaher from New York, the Renzo Gracie Academy. Me and George started training with him when we were blue belts, and we worked all the way our way up to black belt. He's still my trainer. Very inspiring instructor. Not only because his technique is pristine and unique. I would say it's extremely unique. And of course, if you ever worked with him, there's nobody who's ever worked with him that wasn't like completely mind blown after working with him. He's literally a genius. People say that a lot as a compliment, but I mean it literally. The man is literally a genius. He started training jiu-jitsu at the age of 27, and now he runs his own class at the Renzo Gracie Academy. I mean, think about that. The mecca of jiu-jitsu. He teaches class there, and he started at 27. So he's a very unique person. Of course, he spends I would say a minimum 8 hours on the mats a day, if not 12 hours on the mats a day. Okay, he's all in, and he's dissecting the art quite thoroughly. And he didn't just teach me and George, jiu-jitsu. He taught us how to think. So what I learned from him in jiu-jitsu, I took it to striking. I took it to wrestling. I took it everywhere. I took it everywhere in what I do, and I found a lot of success with his methods and his philosophy. So John Danaher was for sure the most influential martial arts instructor I've had. After that, I would say, I've had so many great instructors. It is very difficult for me to pinpoint who are my favorite instructors, who are the ones who influenced me the most. But when I was traveling in Thailand, I did train a lot with Sagat Pechindi. Sagat, if you guys played Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 1 for that matter, one of the characters, his name is Sagat. It's modeled after Sagat, the true Sagat. He's an 11-time world champion. He's a legend in Thailand. He's considered to be one of the greatest fighters of all time. And I got to train with him and his brother Ajanowan, and many other great Thai fighters, of course. But those two really trained me daily, and I lived with them actually. So I had the pleasure of living with them, training with them on a daily basis, especially Ajanowan, Sagat's brother. Amazing martial artists. And what they really were different than most Muay Thai instructors is they did a lot of boxing. Sagat was also world champion in boxing. He's 11-time world champion and one time in boxing. So we did a lot of boxing and Muay Thai, not just Muay Thai. So they really believed in the blend of the two, which I liked because I was already doing that before I started training with them. So I'm a big boxing fan as well. I would say Sagat Pichindi and Gias Sauri. Gias Sauri is somebody I found very inspirational. He's a silver medalist in freestyle wrestling. He's a World Cup champion as well in freestyle wrestling. Gias Sauri is probably one of the most phenomenal wrestling technicians alive today. Like, he's considered to be, I don't know, if you guys look him up, you'll understand. He's like a wrestling, he's a megastar in wrestling. He's a megastar in wrestling. He's originally from Georgia, and his technique is really phenomenal because I never wrestled somebody that I felt I couldn't really lock with. His wrestling, his stand-up wrestling, his freestyle wrestling is so amazing that, and I got to wrestle with him when I was younger and until to this day. I mean, he still teaches at Tristar Gym. And his fluidity, his technique is just really pristine, unbelievable, truly unbelievable. I'll try to do an episode one day with him, and picture a guy who's like 5 feet 2 inches tall, and he'll just throw me and George around like babies, like rag dolls. Like I'm not joking here. I mean, how can I explain this to you guys? I mean, he's like a ghost, you know. He's like you're wrestling a ghost. He just literally just throws us around, and you know, we've had him in the gym and we've horsed around with him. And I've had guys who are really big and strong grab his leg, like just kind of horsing around and like, okay, try to take me down, and they can't take him down. It's just his technique is so unbelievable that he's really somebody that made me believe how high you can go. And of course, the next person that really influenced me very, very much, it would be Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall, without a doubt. I've had the pleasure of working with Ryan Hall for many, many years. I help him a lot in MMA. He's helped me tremendously in jiu-jitsu. He's really, really influenced my jiu-jitsu to the highest degree. I mean, you know, we've talked so much about, you know, the ideas behind jiu-jitsu that he's really opened up how I see things, and without Ryan Hall, I wouldn't have had the understanding of jiu-jitsu I have today. And of course, there's so much more to learn, of course, without a doubt. But he's really one of the most profound thinkers when it comes to technique. So I really enjoy my training with all those instructors. There are many more. I've trained with a lot of great martial artists, you know, and that's why I really believe that if you're really serious about martial arts, you should seek out to work with the best martial artists you can find, because they will take you ahead light years. You know, you'll take forever to get to where they could take you in a much shorter period of time. So, I mean, I could name you more and more instructors. I've gotten to work with a lot of great strikers, wrestlers, jiu-jitsu guys, judokas, wrestlers. I mean, sambo guys. I mean, really, I'm really lucky at Tristar Gym. Not only do I get to travel, but also a lot of great black belts come to Tristar Gym. It's a hotbed in Montreal. You always have different black belts coming in from different backgrounds, different experts from different backgrounds. Very, very lucky for me. And you know, of course, I keep hoping to learn. And you know, this coming the February 25th, we have another, you know, martial arts master. We have Jason Morris. Don't forget, we have the Jason Morris seminar, February 25th at Tristar Gym, starting at 12 o'clock. Starting at 1 o'clock. I believe it's 1 o'clock. Check the times. Call Tristar Gym. Find out. I believe it's at 1 o'clock. And yes, 1 o'clock. It's the Jason Morris. This guy, I did a YouTube video on him. He's a master of no-gi judo. He throws wrestlers on their back like they're babies. He doesn't use freestyle wrestling. He uses judo to do it. And I've worked with him before. I really look forward to this seminar. I highly recommend it to anybody who's interested in learning how to counter wrestling attacks and how to put people on their back. It's extremely compatible with jiu-jitsu. I find his style to be incredibly compatible with jiu-jitsu. Okay, next question. Let me see here. I think that, okay, here we go. This one is from Abid. Abid wants to know, is it realistic that he's almost 27 years old, and he wants to know, is it realistic for him to have a successful pro MMA career? He's willing to do whatever it takes. Abid, it is possible. Absolutely possible. Bernard Hopkins started at the age of 27, and he became world champion multiple times over. Now, my question to you is, how athletic are you? If you're really not that, you know, if you're just below average athleticism, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. You're going to need some level of athleticism, because by the age of 27, you haven't developed the core motor skills. It is going to be very hard for you to develop the core motor skills after that. Now, a lot of people might be wincing and saying, hey, that's not necessarily true. It is not necessarily true. I mean, there are some people who have been successful starting later. However, those are mostly in jiu-jitsu world. If you're talking about MMA, if you're talking about striking, you have to have some level of athleticism. I haven't seen a guy who works behind a desk 9 to 5 who has zero athleticism, starts in his late 20s and becomes successful. Bernard Hopkins is an incredible athlete. You know, he's not Bo Jackson, but he's still way above average in athleticism, way above. So my suggestion to you, if you're 27 years old and you want to be very successful in martial arts, go into jiu-jitsu where athleticism is not as needed. It's not as needed, in my opinion. If you're going to go into pro MMA, you better have a lot of athleticism behind you, because it's not going to be easy. Next question here. This will be the last one, I believe. Yes, sir, it is the last. Let me just double check here. It is the last one. Correct. Okay, good. Perfect. We're doing good on time. Okay, for us, I've watched a lot of your videos and I've grown to like the leg lock game very much, but my coach is very IBJJF oriented black belt. And since I live in Uruguay, there aren't many other gyms to go train. My question is, since I want to get deeper into the leg lock game, is there any solo drills that I can do or sites where I can look up for information about these techniques? Um, Honestly, no, there isn't. I don't think there is any really potent information out there that you're gonna get online. The leg lock game is the most secretive game in jiu-jitsu. People who are Darce masters show their game, guillotine masters show their game, armbar, everybody shows it. Not leg lockers, you know. And I also, you know, a lot of instructors will hide certain details. You know, they won't give you all the details, of course. You know, they'll give you a good chunk of it and let you kind of figure out the rest. Because, you know, if you want to put in all the details, it'll be hours long. If you want to teach somebody an armbar and you really want to go through all the details, you'd be doing it for hours. Like just teaching a simple armbar would be a 2-hour video on all the possibilities and details. What I really suggest to you, Michael, is if you want to learn the leg lock game, fly down to New York City. Save. I know you're in Uruguay, but that's what I did. I traveled. You know, Tristar Gym didn't have much martial arts, especially not in jiu-jitsu. We were just blue belts. We traveled abroad. We saved our money. We went out there. We submerged ourselves in jiu-jitsu and we submerged ourselves in wrestling. And that's what you got to do if you're that dedicated. I mean, how dedicated are you? How dedicated are you to learning the leg lock game? If you're very dedicated, fly down to New York. It might be a little expensive. Spend 2-3 weeks there. You know, skip your vacation time where you get a week off this year, spend it in New York, you know, and immerse yourself. And think about it as planting a seed. You're gonna go back to Uruguay, you're gonna plant a seed. And years later that seed is gonna be a mighty oak tree. You know, that's just the way it is. You know, TriStar Gym, that's how we started. Me and George would travel a lot to New York City. And I still travel to this day, and I still have students that go there and they come back with information, and we're still networking and we work out together. And we have New Yorkers who come to Montreal just to train because it's different bodies and it's just fun. And we developed that relationship, and that's something we did 15 years ago. We started doing 15 years ago, and still today we're benefiting from it. So my suggestion to you is plant those seeds. You know, think of it as a long-term project. If you're serious about mastering the art of jiu-jitsu and leg locks and all that, you know, go to the mecca of leg locks, and that's in New York City without a doubt. So I think you might find some interesting stuff online, but you'll never find the same info you're gonna get from working with John and his guys every day for a couple of weeks. And if you can get away with being there for a month, do it, you know, and just go back periodically and try to develop that relationship, or bring in one of their black belts to your gym, you know, or come visit us at TriStar. We're leg lockers as well. Or bring one of our guys there. You know, just invest. You know, you gotta find the way to invest in your education. And you know, when I travel or I go learn something, it doesn't matter how much. Well, you know, I never cringe at the amount I spent, and I spent a lot of money on my traveling and paying for private lessons and seminars. I spent a lot of money, but it was all beneficial. I you know, I carry that in me now. That'll never be gone, and it's something I use all the time, you know. So not only do I teach it, not only do I build friendships with it, not only did I build a gym with it, but you know, I built my psyche with it. You know, I couldn't imagine what it's like to walk around as a white belt. You know, it's just it would be a scary thing not to know martial arts. You know, I sometimes think about that. You know, what would it be like? You know, you forget what it's like to be just a person who cannot defend themselves in an environment that's a little bit hostile. You know, you have totally different feelings than if you know how to defend yourself. So learning how to defend yourself, for me, I think is paramount. You must learn how to defend yourself. And obviously you do because you train BJJ, so you have that already. But if you want to go to the next level and build that next level of confidence, invest, take the time, go travel. There's no book, there's no internet, there's no, I mean, those stuff can help, but go out there and feel it, submerge yourself, see what a leg lock master is, you know. And I'll tell you something. I've never seen a guy walk into the Renzo Gracie Academy and not be really humbled early on, especially if you don't know leg locks already. Because if you don't know leg locks, you will get caught in leg locks. I guarantee you, you will get caught in leg locks. It's just such a volatile submission. It's so there everywhere. It's on the bottom. It's from the top. It's from the side, and it's just the bones in the foot are just so brittle, and you can break them. You can snap them off, even though the guy's big and athletic. So I highly recommend it. I have the same interest as you. IBJJF. is great for positional control. I believe in doing both. I do both leg locks and IBJJF style techniques. So I hope that answers your question. I hope it inspires you to go out there and find the info you need. All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.
When you train a lot, you get tight. The best way to loosen up your muscle is the Tim Tam.
Bonjour, mon nom est Marc-Élie Toussaint, je suis entraîneur de sprint depuis 23 ans. Je travaille au niveau de la vitesse avec Georges Saint-Pierre depuis 4 ans. Je viens de tester le Tim Tam, c'est le meilleur instrument au niveau du relâchement musculaire que j'ai testé de toute ma carrière. Je le recommande à tous.
Hi, I'm Georges Saint-Pierre. I'm using the Tim Tam machine after my training to help me with my recovery.